to the Becoming You show with me, your host, Leah Rowling. Do you believe you are capable of choosing your future? Sometimes it takes just one person to believe in you, or you to believe in yourself. If you find yourself continuing to say, someday I will take better care of myself, only to continue living the same day over and over and over again, then you, my friend, are in the right place. I am your biggest cheerleader, inspiring you to become you on purpose and with intention. Are you ready to create a life you love? I'm excited to share with you some big ideas that you can use today to inspire, impact, and influence your life and everyone in it. The Becoming You show starts now. Hello, my friends. How are you? Welcome to a new month. Who's ready to enter into March with more energy, with a little bit more enthusiasm, with a little bit more aliveness, with a little less exhaustion, with a little less of the topic that I'm going to talk about today a little bit? I've been coaching a lot around this topic, and so I thought I would address it head on. So many people are exhausted. The latest research on burnout is saying that 53%, that's half, of managers, leaders are burned out. 70% of our C-suite level executives want to quit. They are seriously considering quitting for a job that better supports their well-being. Leader burnout symptoms include emotional exhaustion, reduced efficiency, detachment, loss of motivation, loss of productivity, loss of drive, loss of ambition, brain fog. Friends, the list goes on and on and on. And I believe that the main reason that we as a culture are in burnout is because we have not prioritized energy. We have not created practices that support our energy. We have not managed it. I mean, let's be honest. When was the last time that you found yourself super intentional about your level of energy? How much time do you spend thinking about your energy and how you're showing up and how you're protecting it and how you are creating it? I don't think for many of us, it's a top of mind consideration. And yet it's the very most important thing that we do as a wife, as a husband, as a parent, as a leader, as a coach. It's actually the only thing we do manage. And I think for so many of us, we actually think that we manage people, but we don't. And if we think we do, right, it's no wonder we're exhausted, okay? We don't manage people, my friends. We manage our energy as it relates to people. And while many of us believe we're juggling the management of time and finances and work and health and relationships, and we're managing our emotions, and we're managing our stress, managing our own growth, right? The truth truly might surprise you, because in reality, the elements that we manage can be distilled down into two fundamental aspects: energy and resilience. And I will only have time, most likely, to talk and navigate through energy, but I promise you I will do an episode on resilience. But I have a lot to say about energy, because I want you to think about it. Whether it's tackling your to-do list, whether it's navigating your financial planning, enhancing your career, maintaining your relationships, pursuing personal development, any of these things, what's truly at the heart of all of these activities, it's how we harness our energy to engage with each task. And to add, our resilience in facing the challenges and bouncing back from the setbacks that we will undoubtedly encounter. So in essence, right, we don't manage our time. We allocate our energy to give time its value. You see that? We don't manage stress. We use resilience to adapt and overcome. Every aspect of our life, from our work to our personal endeavors, is a reflection of how effectively we can channel our energy and sustain our resilience. And I truly believe that recognizing this can shift our perspective from a very fragmented view of life management to a more holistic approach, focusing on nurturing our energy and bolstering our resilience as the keys, if you will, to unlocking our full potential. But let me just break each of these down for you, because I feel it. If I do a good job setting this conversation up, essentially selling you, if you will, on the importance of energy and the importance of managing it, the invitation that I'm going to ask you later on in this conversation will be an easy one. It will be a no-brainer. So that's what I'm setting you up for today. Okay. So let's consider your job. At work, we're not merely managing tasks and projects, right? We're channeling our energy into productive efforts and leveraging our resilience to navigate career challenges, adapt to change, and grow, right? Success isn't about the number of hours we put in, but the quality and the intensity of the energy invested. And of course, the ability to bounce back and learn from our experiences. Let's talk about health. It's not just, friends, about scheduling our doctor's appointments or hitting the gym, right? It's about dedicating energy to self-care practices and building then the resilience on the other end to recover, to maintain healthy habits, and to adapt our body's needs over time. Let's talk about relationships. Relationships aren't just about spending time with loved ones. They require the energy to be present, to emotionally connect, to communicate effectively. And of course, alongside of that, you have the resilience to work through the conflicts and to understand the differences and to be authentic in them, and ultimately then strengthen that relationship. We think about emotions, right? As you've heard me say on the podcast, we don't suppress or control them, right? That's not what, when we talk about emotional maturity, it's not about suppressing and controlling them. It's truly about understanding and investing energy in understanding and processing them. And then, of course, resilience on the back end to navigate the highs and lows, which then turns into emotional intelligence, emotional responsibility, and just emotional well-being. So in all of these aspects, in every single area, the underlying theme remains. It's not the external elements that we manage. It's not anything outside of us that we manage. It's how we manage our energy and our resilience in order to engage with and respond to life's demands, to the situations, to the circumstances, and to, yes, opportunities. And I truly believe that recognizing this can fundamentally transform our approach to life. And then I believe it leads us towards a more integrated and fulfilling existence. So if we truly only manage two things, energy and resilience, how do we go about doing that? And like I mentioned, I'll talk about resilience a different day because I won't have time to really kind of walk through all of the components of resiliency. But I'm going to try my very best to talk through the components of energy. How do we manage it? What are the components? Okay, so I'm going to simplify a little bit today because I have not a lot of time, but I do want to impart onto you that there are three components. There are three areas And I believe that when we get these right, we feel it and we know it. Even if our life is full of challenge and struggles, because it is, and it will forever be, there's just a flow to our life. And sometimes we can't even explain it. And also, likewise, when we don't get it right, we feel it and we know it. And in the challenge and in the struggle, we burn out. And I want you to consider that avoiding burnout is not void of struggle and challenge. It is embracing it. So let's talk about that very, very first component. And that is the component of our physical well-being. Okay? I know this isn't going to shock you that this is an essential component to energy management. And I could talk about physical well-being for probably weeks and weeks and weeks on end, but I'm going to simplify physical well-being into 3 different components. And this isn't me just sharing with you what I think are good best practices as it relates to our physical well-being. These are principles, these are concepts, these are tools that are research-based and backed, and the science just says so. And yet I don't think that there's enough foresight into really thinking about these with very much consideration. So let's break them down. Sleep. Okay. It's not just downtime, friends. While you're off in dreamland, right, your body's busy. It's busy repairing your muscles. It's busy consolidating memories, rebooting your brain. If you skimp on sleep, you're essentially just running on fumes. Studies show that quality sleep not only boosts your mood, it sharpens your brain, it amplifies your immune system. Okay, it's like hitting the reset button on your whole system. And yet, so many people don't have a sleep routine. And I'm guessing that most people would say that sleep is important even, but not important enough to create a routine around it. Interesting, right? So much of what is required for us to have more energy is really just common sense, but we live our life without it. So let me ask you, what is your routine? How do you wind down your night? What time do you put yourself in bed? What time do you wake up? Have you ever considered that many of us have not even done the simple math required to ensure we do this part right? Meaning, what time do you need to get up in the morning? We have to start with that. I did not say what time do you have to get up. Okay. In my mind, there's a difference. The time that I have to get up is the time that external obligations require me, right? Kids and breakfast and getting them to school and coaching calls and trainings, etc. But what time do I need to get up is based on an internal desire in order to set up my day my way. If I woke up when I have to, it would be around 6:45. Because that's when I have to get Max up and I have to get him in the shower. I have to get his breakfast and get him off to school and then come back and do my thing. But I need to get up at 6 so that I can do my morning routine. Now, you might be thinking how we were just talking about a sleep and evening routine, and now we're talking about a morning routine. Well, I have to know when I need to wake up, ensuring that I start my day, right, my way, and I'm not just thrown into the whims of everyone else's day. And then I reverse calculate when I need to go to bed. So if I need to wake up at 6, I need to make sure that I am sleeping between 10 and 11 to make sure that I get between 7 hours of sleep. Now, also notice that I said sleeping. Going to bed and sleeping are not the same things. I know this is not groundbreaking intel, friends, but I think people are exhausted because they haven't spent enough time considering when they're waking up. They haven't spent any time considering what their morning routine is, and therefore no time considering what their evening or sleep routine would look like in order to hook themselves up for an awesome tomorrow. And isn't that it? Really, so much of the work really is just thinking about how the actions that we take today impact our results tomorrow. And too many of us are not thinking about that at all. Think about this. If 20% of the effort, of the action, of the behaviors that we take on any given day have an 80% effect on the results, then doesn't it make sense that the effort is important? And non-effort, friends, is effort. Okay? So no effort on being intentional about your sleep has an 80% effect on your energy as it relates to getting good sleep. Does that make sense? And this rule is going to apply to every other concept I share with you today. Okay? So sleep. Have a routine, please. I've been asked to talk more about sleep and habits that I have around sleep, and in particular, HRV and my obsession with HRV. And I promise that is going to be on an upcoming podcast. So I could talk a lot about sleep and the importance of it. So I want you just to consider, if for no other reason, what time you need to get up in the morning so that you can start your morning your way, reverse engineer 78 hours. That is the time that I want you to tuck yourself into bed. So we're still on physical well-being. The second one, the second component to physical well-being as a component of this energy management conversation is exercise. Right? This is a no-brainer as well. But let's break it down like we kind of did with sleep. Regular physical activity, it increases your heart rate, which in then turn cranks up your energy levels. Exercise releases endorphins, those feel-good hormones. It improves your sleep quality. It reduces stress. Basically, it's a triple threat when it comes down to boosting your battery life. And again, you don't have to work out hours and hours a day. I've changed completely the way that I work out because I have changed my relationship with working out. And so I don't care as much what you do as it relates to working out, just that you know what you're going to do and you commit to moving your body in some way, shape, or form on a very regular, if not daily basis, okay? The last component of this physical well-being is nutrition, right? Again, all three of these incredibly common sense, but we don't apply it a lot of times. We don't apply what we know, and that is the reason why we don't reach the potential that is possible for us. So when we think about nutrition, I just want you to think about this. You wouldn't most likely put a Twinkie into your gas's car tank and expect it to run smoothly, right? The same goes for your body. Feeding it junk is a surefire way to not feel great, alive, and healthy. I want you to think about nutritious foods and how they act as the premium fuel, giving you the energy that you need throughout the day. And again, if I asked you what makes up a healthy diet, you probably would let me know. You would probably tell me. But again, it's not as easy as knowing. It's understanding the consequences for not doing what you know, for understanding this energy conversation. It's just something that we might want to pay attention to. Okay? And if we tie all of this back into energy management, these physical well-being pillars, if you will, are just non-negotiable, friends. And here's the thing, pick one. Just pick one. They all have a ripple effect on the others. So whether it is you're going to be more mindful of the food that you put into your body, or you're going to move your body, or you're going to put your body to bed at night at a reasonable time so that you can wake up feeling refreshed. Pick one, because if you got better sleep, you'd probably move your body more and you'd probably eat better. If you ate better, you would probably want to move your body better and then you would be more ready to go to sleep. They all have a ripple effect, okay? So let's talk about the emotional side of the energy equation. We talked about the physical well-being side. Let's talk about the emotional side. I want you to imagine as I was thinking about this for the podcast, I was thinking about imagining your emotional well-being as the music playlist for the road trip that is life. Okay? Just like the right tunes can uplift your spirit on a long drive, maintaining your emotional balance keeps your journey smooth, more enjoyable, even when you hit some potholes along the way, even when there are detours, even when things don't go as planned. Isn't that the way of it? So when I think about emotions, I think too many of us just don't understand them. And that is why I'm spending literally this whole month talking about emotions, what they are, why they matter, how to create them on purpose, how to establish emotional set points, how to have emotional balance. Think of it as your internal climate control. It's all about kind of keeping your cool or warmth, as it may be, no matter what weather life throws at you. We all know the 50-50. We all know that life's a roller coaster. We all know that there's ups and downs and loop-de-loops. An emotional balance in that roller coaster ride that is life is really just the safety harness, if you will, keeping you secure and upright no matter what. And I think we exhaust ourselves energetically by riding the huge roller coaster ride, when I just want you to have little baby rides, just little baby waves, just like the little toddler roller coaster is what I want. And again, I'm teaching about all of that in the Shift membership. So if you've been fascinated by emotions, or you're interested in emotions, or you're tired of tempering too quickly, or if you're tired of constantly feeling upset and depressed and angry or frustrated, frustration for me was the biggest one. If you're just tired of having these default feelings that seem to be exhausting and they don't really align with who you know you are at your core, just join us this month in Shift and really learn what emotions are, how to navigate them, how to choose them on purpose. It's a game changer, friends. So let's piggyback on emotional balance with this conversation about stress. Okay. We all have it. No one is immune, but it's how we handle it that counts. Managing stress is like knowing when to slow down before a sharp turn. It's crucial so we don't spin out. It doesn't matter what your strategies are for navigating stress. It only matters that you have them, whether that's going for a walk or taking deep breaths or meditating or listening to music or taking a shower or taking a bath or calling a friend, whatever is your go-to. And yes, I want you to know what it is. I don't want you to just deal with stress to get through it. I want you to have a plan. I want you to have a path to remind yourself that this too will pass and that you are stronger than you think and that you are capable and that you are resilient. I want you to have a solution for stress, or stress will continue to be your problem. So one of the ideas that I just offered to you guys about stress is calling a friend. I truly believe that having amazing relationships, amazing friendships, connections, they're everything. So I want you to ask yourself, who are your people? I want to do a podcast on this, but I'll tease this out here. If you feel as though you don't have people that support you, if you feel as though that you don't have people that you can talk to about all the things in your life, the good and the bad, I want you to consider making friendship development a priority for you this year. I know some of you have shared with me that friends are hard and making real friends is difficult. And I have a lot of default friends. I have friends by association. I have friends because kids play on the same sports teams. I have friends of spouses. I have friends from the gym. But who would you say are the real ones? If you got to pick them yourself, who would they be? And if there's nothing else really that you do today other than prioritizing sleep, nutrition, and your exercise, would you do me a favor today? Would you call them and let them know? Would you let them know that you're thankful for them? Anyone that you know that you think that you would maybe even like to get to know better, become better friends with. I truly think that the more we did this, the more we would connect in a deeper and more meaningful way. And I truly believe that within our connections, there's this energetic way of being. There's this energy that comes around and about by having really meaningful relationships that are real, not relationships that you feel obliged to have, obligated to have, responsible of having because of default situations, but intentional. So that is the last bit of what I'm going to tease out in this podcast. Next week, I'm really going to talk about the other aspects of what makes up energy and how to protect it, how to cultivate it. But the biggest thing that I want you to consider in all of this is this idea of intentionality, right? It's the most important thing that you can do in order to fully execute your energy management game plan. I want you to think of intentionality as the secret sauce, the magic ingredient that fuels, that powers this entire operation. Because without intentionality, we're just drifting aimlessly wherever life decides to take us. But with it, we become the captains of our own ship. We steer towards our destination. We actually get to be the creators of our life. Intentionality, it's that conscious choice that I talk about all the time on this podcast, to live by design, not by default. It's waking up every day and deciding to take the reins of your life rather than just to let the day's winds take control. And it looks like a bunch of different things. But in particular, I want you to understand that every single day offers a new opportunity to shape your life with intention, right? To move from existing, just barely surviving in default mode, or in thriving in a life filled with purpose and love and fulfillment. And so as we wrap up today, I want you to know that I'm rooting for you, that I love you, that I want you to understand that more than anything I teach, more than thought management, more than emotional management, more than relational management, is this idea of energy management. Because if you don't get this piece right, if you don't get energy management right, it's next to impossible to redirect your mind and to be the boss of your brain. It's next to impossible to take emotional responsibility. It's next to impossible to have those deep, meaningful, present relationships. Energy management, it has to start there. It has to start there, my friends. So until next time, keep living intentionally, keep striving to become the very most authentic version of you, and know that in every single moment, you have the power to create the life that you've always dreamed of. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, everybody. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to the Becoming You Show with me, your host, Leah Rolling, where I share big ideas to inspire, impact, and influence your life. Tune in every Friday at 11 Central on transformationtalkradio.com for your morning cup of coffee, the hug you never want to end, and that inspirational message that you felt was written just for you. Each show is inspiring you to become you with purpose and intention. For more information or to connect with me, visit www.leahrowling.com.